Honestly, editing used to drain me. I didn't have a clear flow. I would jump around the timeline fixing random things, and the whole process took way longer than it should. It left me feeling tired, overwhelmed, and honestly, it just became really exhausting. But over time, I found a way of editing that feels calmer and simpler, something that supports my energy instead of draining it. So, in today's video, I'm sharing how I currently edit my own videos step by step in a way that feels gentle, organized, and manageable for any new creator. And this is episode 4 of my YouTube series for beginners, where I'm sharing what's been helping me to start and build my channel in a simpler and calmer way. So, let's start with the part that made editing feel noticeably calmer for me. Editing started to feel way less chaotic once I had a simple, calm workflow. When you have a systematic workflow in place, then it makes editing way more manageable. Plus, this way you are going to protect your energy and it will reduce the overwhelm you face while editing. And this is way more important than you think because when you don't have a systematic workflow in place, you are going to jump around the timeline and edit randomly. And this way, you are going to waste so much of your time, leaving you drained and stressed at the end of the day. On the other hand, when you have a clear sequence, then you can do your editing in a way more calmer, faster, and in a more focused way. I still remember when I didn't have a clear sequence of editing. What I usually did is clicking randomly here and there, trimming the clips randomly, sometimes fixing the audio, adding random texts. And this way, hours later, I still felt unfinished and totally drained. I really feel embarrassed to admit that this way I used to take days to edit one single video. And honestly, a big part of why editing used to feel so chaotic for me wasn't just the editing itself. It was that I was going in with too many ideas in my head. So if that's something you relate to, I created the Calm Creator Video Planner to help you clear that mental clutter, choose one idea, and go into your next video with a clear direction. I have linked it in the description box below. You can get it for absolutely free. So, coming back to editing, once the workflow was clear, the process of editing became way more systematic and calmer. So now I will go through the current workflow that I use for editing every single video so you can have the idea of how the editing workflow should look like. Okay, so coming to step number 1, which is import and organize the clips. I film with my Android phone. So the first step for me is importing the clips from my phone to the external storage, which is the hard drive. And there I create separate folders for A rolls, B rolls, and the audios, if any. Next, what I do is simply renaming the files. For example, this is the video on editing. So for this video, it can look like editing part 1, editing part 2, editing intro, and so on. And remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. Even a basic structure is enough to make the editing feel lighter. Okay, so after this is done, the next step is rough cut. In this step, what you do is cutting the silences, arms, all the mistakes or bad takes from your clips. This itself is a really tedious process because I used to do it manually, but thanks to AI these days, it can make this process fully automated. My current favorite tools, Descript and Filmora Pro, can handle this with a single click. In this step, make sure to focus on the structure, not the effects. So after the rough cut is done, the next step is watching the full video and adding markers. After rough cut is done, what I do is watching the full video to check the pacing and flow. And in this step, I also like to add the markers for B-roll, texts, or any graphics. And for B-rolls, I plan them in Notion in advance. This will help me build a library of my own B-roll clips over time. So after this is done, the next step is adding B-rolls, texts, and graphics. For B-rolls, you can use your own media or stock media, but for connection and authenticity, your own clips are preferable. I also like to add simple text overlays to make the concept clearer to the viewer. And if I'd like to add any graphics, then first I do a rough sketch and then try to make it in Canva. And I would like to suggest you to keep this simple, purposeful, and minimal, at least while you were just starting out. Because copying some editing techniques from your favorite creators could take up days. Trust me, I tried this before. It's so much time consuming. Okay, so after this is done, the next step is basic color correction. In this step, what I usually do is adjusting the brightness, contrast, shadows, and highlights. And if I use any preset of the editing software or any filter, then I would like to keep the effect really minimal. Okay, so now it's time for the final review. In this step, you are going to watch the full video as a viewer, not a critic. What I like to do is checking the pacing, clarity, and overall feel of the video. That's it. And now the final step, which is exporting the video. You can download the video in both 1080p or 4K, but if your actual clips are of 1080p, then exporting it to 4K really adds a minimal difference. While exporting the video, just keep in mind the platform settings required. And once your workflow is clear, the next step is choosing tools that actually support this process. Simple tools that don't overwhelm or drain your energy. You don't need fancy tools to make great videos. You just need the right ones for your flow, especially when you are creating content solo. And this is way more important than you think, because when you are trying to use complicated tools, it has a steeper learning curve that will add unnecessary stress. On the other hand, when you are going to use comfortable tools, that will make your workflow way more calmer and manageable. Now I will share a bit what I personally tried and how each one felt to use. Okay, so the first one is CapCut, which is simple and beginner friendly, but unfortunately it's banned in India due to privacy and security reasons. I want my peace of mind while working, so I never used after I got to know that it was banned. Now coming to the next one, which is VN Editor, that I loved using because it's really easy to use and very beginner friendly. Plus, it also allows you to export the video watermark free on the free version. But the issue with this is it's tricky to use this tool on PC because it doesn't have a PC version. It needs an Android emulator to run on PC. So I didn't have a very good experience using it on my PC. Now coming to my current favorite tools, I used both of them for quite a long time because I loved using them. So the first one is Descript, which has a really minimal interface and allows you to edit your video in the document style. That means it will automatically transcribe your full video and you can edit the transcription like you do edit the PDFs, and the editing will be automatically done to your clips. It also offers auto silence cut, which is a great feature because manually trimming the silences takes lot of time. Okay, so next is Filmora Pro, which has again a very low learning curve. It has a really easy and beginner friendly interface. It's great for simple YouTube edits. I recently switched to this software. I can work with this software on all of my devices like my PC, iPad, and my phone. It can also auto cut the silent parts, and that's a real time saving feature. I think there is no best editing tool. It depends totally on you, how you work. And I think what matters most is how much calm and comfortable it feels to you. Descript and Filmora Pro are the two softwares that I have been loving since last year or so, and that's why I have linked them below in the description box because I genuinely loved using them. Yes, they're affiliate links, and if you choose to use those links, it supports my work at no extra cost to you. So, if you want to make your editing process really simpler, then I will suggest you to pick one or maximum two tools to master first. And please avoid switching too often because it takes a lot of time to learn a new software. So now you have a workflow and tools that work for you. But sometimes editing still feel heavier than it should. And that's usually not the process. It's about the small habits layered into it. And these are the ones that have made the biggest difference for me. Small habits can completely change how editing feels, even if you are just starting out. Here, I'm going to mention only those that worked for me and made a real big difference. So, the first one is edit from the last take first. It saves the trimming time. Even if your editing software cuts the silence parts, often last take is the best. So while editing, always start with the last take and work backward. So the next one is planning texts and graphics. Again, this is really useful because random additions feel really chaotic. Trust me, I did that in the past and it would take so much longer time than it should. So what you can do is deciding all the placements for B-rolls, texts, graphics, or any audio after the rough cut is done. You can use markers or note the timestamps where you want to add those elements. And if you want to add a graphic of your own, then it would be really useful to do a rough sketch first and then creating it. Okay, so the next step is planning B-rolls in advance. B-rolls keep your visuals interesting. And if you plan them in advance, it's going to save a lot of time. What you can do is while planning the video or while scripting it, you can note the potential B-roll clips for that particular video. And if you are still unsure, then you can always ask ChatGPT. You can provide the script to ChatGPT and ask for B-roll suggestions. And don't forget to tell the conditions you have for filming those B-rolls. For example, minimal props. You use your phone for filming the B-rolls. You are filming solo. Though this is completely optional, it's just a support tool in case you want to try out B-rolls and you can't really decide what B-rolls would go for the video. You don't need to be an expert or have the perfect tools. Small, simple habits can make editing feel calmer and way more manageable. And if editing has been feeling heavier than it should because your mind is already full before you even start, the Calm Creator Video Planner is there to help you get clear on one idea before you begin. It's completely free and I have linked below in the description box. And I hope these tips help you feel a little calmer and more confident while editing your own videos. And if you haven't watched the other episodes of this series yet, you can check them out if you would like. The playlist will be right here on your screen and also in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.